Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parent Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. You need to help my daughter get over her breaking up with you. After that, am I the jerk for telling my boyfriend's mother she raised a psycho who needs to be in a facility? And after that, Karen doesn't wear a mask, and I make her regret it. Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen has to wear a mask. You can't make me! So please smash that like button, and if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. You need to help my daughter get over her breaking up with you. A few years ago, I was dating a girl named Hannah. I say was because that's no longer the case. Hannah and I were in our mid-20s when we met and quickly started dating shortly after. A few weeks into the relationship, I would be spending more time at her apartment than at my own house. Her parents paid for a place for her. We were inseparable. Unfortunately, my rose-colored glasses didn't alert me to the emotional burden that I had placed on myself by being with Hannah. Hannah was, unfortunately, not emotionally well. Of course, being in love tends to let you gloss over these things, and I managed to forgive her for going through my phone or stalking other girls I talked to online, or for giving me the silent treatment when we argued about something, or for texting her exes behind my back. However, all this came to a head after just over a year of dating when she accused me of cheating on her with multiple women in a big spectacle in front of her classmates and friends in public after giving me the silent treatment for over a week. I decided I'd had enough, and when she told me, "We are done," I decided to walk and never look back. Of course, this didn't stop Hannah from trying to do a 180 and get me back, which resulted in me having to block a total of 7 different numbers from her friends, and her burner phones before she eventually hacked my Reddit account and, after sending me messages through my profile, deleted it. I know what you're saying. Where are the entitled parents? Enter stage left. Hannah's family and I had gotten along very well. Her dad and I met weekly for baseball, and her mom and I would often discuss things for her apartment. I would often go over for dinner. It became rather apparent that her parents had difficulty dealing with her emotional well-being, and that they would many times look to me to help her during these episodes. So when Hannah came home in tears that I left her, her parents immediately contacted the one person who was there to help her during her emotional distress, me. In case you weren't paying attention, Hannah and I are in our mid-20s, and I was being contacted by her mother trying to explain how this was a misunderstanding and that I should come take her back. When it became apparent that I was not interested in doing so, her mother allowed Hannah to contact me through her phone, berating me for ghosting her and leaving our fabulous relationship. When Hannah finally hacked my Reddit and I was forced to change a plethora of passwords as well as check all my accounts for suspicious activity alongside contacting a lawyer, I finally reached out to her family to tell them what had occurred. I was met by her father, stating that I needed to come discuss this breakup with her, that she was distraught and nobody else could help her but me. Apparently, I needed to help the person who broke up with me get over breaking up with me because I'm her boyfriend. It was then that I said to her father that no, Hannah is not my problem anymore, that I am under no obligation to help her through her breakup, and then informed him of the hacking and threatened legal action. He once again tried to ask me to at least contact her because I could only assume her parents were having difficulty handling her emotionally. I once again repeated what I said, that I have my own feelings to worry about, and reminded him that she broke up with me. And you want me to come help her through this? I hung up. I never heard from any of them again, probably because they're all still blocked. Have you ever dealt with a really difficult breakup? If so, how did you go about doing it? Please let us know. It's all his fault. Am I the jerk for telling my boyfriend's mother she raised a psycho who needs to be in a facility? So I, female 26, have a boyfriend, male 24, and recently he got into a dispute with the neighbor's kids. They accidentally kicked their football into our yard and they came into the garden to get it back. To be honest, I didn't care, but my boyfriend started screaming at these 11-year-olds about how they are poorly raised and their parents should be ashamed. I was mortified. I sent the kids some chocolates and sweets and apologized profusely for his behavior. I was seeing red flags and told him this behavior was not normal. He kind of brushed me off, and I told him if he pulled anything like that again, he was gone. The next week, the ball came into our garden, and I was about to throw it back to the kids when my boyfriend stormed outside and took the ball inside. I told the kids that I would bring it back in a minute. He went into the bathroom and emerged like 10 minutes later wearing gloves, and the football was covered in his doo-doo. What the heck? I asked him if he was out of his mind, but he stormed past me and threw it over the fence, screaming, "Take that, you jerks!" I screamed, and girl, I mean screamed at him about how he was a total jerk and I wanted him out of my house and he's a disgusting monster and that they were just kids. I screamed and screamed, and eventually he left. I deleted all of his games off his PS4 and gave it to the kids as an apology. I was so embarrassed. My ex-boyfriend's mom messaged me asking me what had happened, and I responded with, "What happened? What happened? You raised a sociopath who covered a football in his own doo-doo and threw it at someone, and he needs to be in a facility because something is wrong with him, and God knows how I hadn't seen any red flags about this monster you raised during the 7 months we dated." I know I'm in the right for what I did to my boyfriend, but am I in the wrong for snapping at the mother for something she had no direct involvement in? What do you think? Was it wrong for her to go off on his mother like that? Please let us know. I thought it was a great idea what he did with that football. I might have to try that myself. Karen doesn't wear a mask, and I make her regret it. So yesterday, I was at the store to get some groceries for today's Pizza Sunday. Due to what's going on, you have to wear a mask if you plan to go into any kind of store. But a lot of people just brush it off and try to go inside without one. But in larger stores and markets, the staff stops you and tells you you need to get a mask and then come back. Like the responsible person I am, I always wear a mask when I go to the store. Because the store is close to my house, 90% of the time I do my shopping there. Naturally, I know the few staff members that work there, so while I shop, I also make some small talk with them. I'm guessing this lady saw me a bunch of times in the store and thought I was working there. While I was shopping, she approached me and asked, "Hey kid, where can I find baking soda?" Naturally, I replied, "It should be next to the flour." She said thanks and walked off. 1 minute later though, "Hey kid, it's not there." Me, "Okay, what do you want me to do about it?" "Well, go look in the back. There has to be some. I really need it." Me, it clicked. "Miss, I don't work here." Karen, confident as heck. "Of course you do. You're wearing a mask." Note, all the staff are wearing synthetic gloves, masks, and red shirts with the store logo, and I was wearing my Nike t-shirt and shorts. Me, confused and baffled. "Everyone should wear a mask while in a store. It's required by law." I took a look at her again. "Where's your mask? How did you get inside without one?" I'm guessing there wasn't any staff by the counter, so she just slipped in without anyone noticing. Karen, visibly angry. "What did you say to me, boy? Where is your manager? I want to talk to him right now." Me, I sighed. Again, I don't work here. Karen is fuming. "I want your manager." As soon as she said that, I had a light bulb moment. You see, I know the manager. She's a sweet person. Let's call her Jess. But if you get her angry, she is the devil. Me, with a grin on my face. "Okay, miss, follow me." We get over to Jess, and before the woman said a word, me, "Jess, this woman isn't wearing a mask." Jess, "Miss, put your mask on while you're in our store." Karen is surprised. "I don't have one." Jess, really upset. "Get out." Karen, realizing she's done for. "But," Jess points her finger at the door. "Now, miss." Karen realizes she's in trouble and runs out of the store. I just said thanks to Jess and continued shopping. Have you guys been wearing masks? And have you seen anybody who's not? Please let us know. You'll never make me wear one of those stupid things. Am I the jerk for not wanting my boyfriend's brother in my pictures because he has a distracting facial scar? I, 22, female, have been with my boyfriend for 3 years now and things are going great. I have a really good relationship with his family and his parents adore me. They're well off and always give me lots of support. I'm not exactly rich, which I really appreciate. For some context, his brother got into a car accident last year and it was pretty rough. He was mostly fine, but ended up with a permanent facial scar. Nothing wrong with that, he still looks great, but the scar is huge and very noticeable. It's a very sensitive topic, but I think he'll get better soon. Anyway, it was my birthday recently and we all had a nice dinner. Afterwards, I needed some pics for my social media, so I handed my boyfriend's brother my phone and told him to start snapping. Then, my boyfriend asked him to join us too, and I didn't really expect that. His brother wasn't interested in being in the pics with us. Since the accident, he has become very withdrawn and doesn't even like being social. but my boyfriend encouraged him. Eventually, he decided to join us, but I was totally against it. I was kind of upset that I was put on the spot like that, and my boyfriend noticed and asked what's wrong. I said that the scar is just too noticeable and would get more attention, which isn't fair, especially when you consider it's my birthday. I'm not an attention seeker, but I think it's unfair to do that to someone. Also, I just didn't think it would look nice. Apparently, that was horrible of me because everybody was acting like I'm the devil. My boyfriend got really upset and refused to take any pics with me. His parents seemed quite mad too, but they didn't say much. His brother didn't even look very upset. He just gave me a blank stare and left the room. I'm not sure why everybody is acting like I said something so horrible when he didn't even respond. He seemed fine to me, and even if I messed up, why won't any of them straight up tell me? Yesterday I spoke with my boyfriend about it, and he demands that I apologize to his brother. Apparently, it was the first time he actually seemed okay with having his pics taken, and I ruined that. I'm sorry about that, but I don't think that's relevant at all. I just feel like I'm being blamed for everything. My boyfriend keeps saying that I hurt his brother's feelings, but I don't see any evidence of that. I personally don't see why an apology is needed. Am I the jerk? Well, what do you guys think? Is she the jerk? Or has she done nothing wrong? Please let us know.
Oh, give her a break. It's her birthday.
Do my shopping for me. No, I'm working. So this happened a week or two ago. So for those who haven't seen my previous post, I'm currently working as an online shopper at a certain orange and maroon British shop. The job basically involves me going around the store picking up shopping for 1 to 8 people at a time. On that day, there was a lady there with her daughter, who is probably no less than 17, who looked a little confused, so I put on my best friendly customer assistance voice while quickly throwing an item in my cart. "Are you all right there, madam?" She darts her head around and says, "Oh, we're looking for..." Insert item I don't remember. I remembered knowing where the item was, and I was going to that aisle anyway, so I just said, "Oh yeah, I'm going there right now. I'll show you where they are." I take her to where the item she was looking for was and park up my cart to grab the stuff I need. She asks me to grab it for her. It was hung up on a shelf, and I'm tall and have long arms, and she was pretty short. The daughter was on her phone, so I was like, "Of course." She throws the item in her bag and says,
I need...
the second item next.
Could you take me to where that is?
The following conversation ensues. Me: "Oh, sorry, I can't. I need to finish up this shopping." Her:
Well, you're doing shopping anyway. You can just get whatever you need in the same place as what I need. What if I can't reach?
Me: "There'll be another member of staff, or you could ask your daughter to help." Her:
This is incredibly disrespectful. Whatever happened to the customer is always right?
Me: "Nothing. I just can't follow you around and do your shopping for you because I have to do my work." Her:
Go get your manager. I'll sort something out with them.
Daughter: "Oh, for heck's sake, Mom. You're not doing this again." Her:
Don't you dare swear at me, young lady.
Her daughter: "Because I should listen to you? The lady who treats store employees as if they're servants and calls the manager when it doesn't go her way? I was honestly counting down the minutes until you started being a jerk towards the employees. I started to shuffle away. While I can stand my ground in confrontation, I feel super awkward during domestic disputes." Her:
We're going to talk about this when we get home.
Then to me:
Where are you going?
Daughter: "No, we aren't. Leave the guy alone. I'm walking home and staying in my room." The mother grabs her daughter by the arm, and people are looking into the aisle and skipping it to avoid all this conflict. Thankfully, my little scanner has a button to call a manager, so I quickly press that before things get worse. The manager sees the mother and daughter screaming at each other. Manager: "Both of you, break it up." Suddenly, the entitled lady becomes like a little kid who's telling on a mean classmate. Mother:
Oh, thank goodness you're here. Your employee is refusing to help me and told my daughter that he'll get her free stuff if she beats me up.
Daughter: "That's not true. My mom is being her usual self, wanting everyone to bend to her will. When I wanted to leave, she grabbed me." Manager: "Yes, I saw that. Tiger, what happened?" Me: "I showed this woman where this item was, and she wanted it down from the shelf. Then she demanded I follow her around in case she can't get something else." Daughter: "And I can vouch for that." Manager: "Right then. Ma'am, I'm giving you one chance to leave the store right now. Otherwise, I will call security and have you escorted out." There was no objection from the mother, and she left before security was called. The daughter got some free stuff for having to put up with all that, and I got to finish after my current shop. So just under an hour early, though that was probably because there wasn't much stuff left to gather. Neighbor parks his car and blocks my exit. Don't mess with a woman scorned. This happened about 5 years ago when I moved into a wheelchair-friendly unit. I'm a 29-year-old disabled female in a wheelchair. The unit complex I live in has 20 units, upstairs and down, but only half of the tenants have assigned parking. I have a car space, but this neighbor didn't. It took a while for tenants to get used to this. It was a brand new complex and the tenants all moved in at the same time. But one of them, let's call him Jerk, either didn't get it or didn't care. He would constantly park in my car space, and every time I confronted him about it, he claimed not to know, but he had parked there anyway. I informed the landlords about this, and they sent out constant letters until he finally got the message. But did he park on the street? Nope. He started to park his car along the driveway, sometimes blocking my exit. To get out of the door, I go down a ramp and then turn onto the driveway, but he would park his car and block my exit. There was no back exit, so this was my only way to exit my place. I told the landlords about this and the council parking officer in hopes that they could make him stop doing this. I confronted Jerk a few times and told him not to do this and warned him that his car might get damaged if I tried to get my wheelchair around it. But did he listen? Nope. One glorious day when I needed to leave, I saw his car parked halfway across my exit. There was just enough room for me to get around, but I knew I would scrape the side of his car with the side of my power wheelchair if I tried to get around it. I had two options: stay home and miss my appointments, or try to get around his car. I went with option B. Before you have a go at me for damaging his car, it was an old beat-up tin can that already had some scratches on it. What's one more? When I got home, his car was still parked there. So I called a tow truck company and told them there was a car parked illegally, blocking access to my home. I don't like using my disability to my advantage, but I'd had enough. The call went something like this. Me. Hello? Yes, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I'm in a wheelchair and I can't get into my house because there's a car parked there. It's my neighbor and he won't stop parking there. I need to get inside.
OMG, what? What's the address? We'll be right there.
10 minutes later, the tow truck arrived. He saw the car and me stuck out in the driveway with tears, dramatized for effect, in my eyes. Not long before the driver was able to tow the car away, Jerk came out screaming,
"Wait, what are you doing? That's my car!"
The rest was Jerk yelling inaudible sentences, asking why his car was being towed, and threatening to sue the tow truck company. Based on the crab fest of a tin can he calls a car, he didn't have a leg to stand on. He moved away about 2 years ago, but in the remaining time he lived there, he parked his car on the street. Have you ever had someone who kept parking in your spot? If so, what did you do about it? Please let us know.
I park wherever I want to. I don't care whose spot it is.
Am I the jerk for not giving my cousin his share of my inheritance? I, 25 female, am the oldest great-grandchild of my great-grandparents, and my brother, 22 male, is the second. When we were born, my great-grandparents set aside trust funds for each of us that have grown to about $200,000 each. I'm planning on using my money for a down payment on a house eventually. Now, my great-grandparents both passed away before my cousin, 18 male, was born. Since he didn't exist when my great-grandparents were setting aside money in their wills, he didn't get anything from them. My aunt, cousin's mom, recently found out about the trust funds and became incensed that her kid didn't receive anything. She messaged me and my brother telling us that she knows we will do the right thing and split all our money 3 ways so that it's fair, because that's what your great-grandparents would have wanted you to do. I talked to my grandmother and she said her parents gave me and my brother that money for us to use and that it's completely up to us if we want to share it or not. She also made a good point that since there are now 30 plus great-grandchildren, if my aunt really wanted it to be fair, then we would have to dole out the money among every other great-grandchild and everyone would end up getting less than $15,000. I'm not sure what the right thing to do is. My brother and I have discussed it and we agree that it's technically not fair for my cousin to not get anything. On the other hand, my cousin's other grandparents that I am not related to are billionaires with a capital B, and he's their only grandchild, so he's set to inherit everything from them and is in no way hurting for money. My parents think that my brother and I should ignore our aunt and keep the money to use it and to pay off any debts and get a head start on our adult lives, though I didn't do anything to earn the money and would be fine if I did give up some of it. Would I be the jerk if my brother and I kept our inheritances, even if it isn't fair to our cousin? Edit. This got a ton more attention than I expected. Thank you everyone for the advice. My brother and I have been reading as many comments as we can, and this has really made us feel better about keeping the money. I'm going to write a letter to my aunt saying that although I understand where she's coming from, we are going to use the inheritances as our great-grandparents left them for us specifically. What would you do? Would you share the inheritance with your cousin or keep it? Please let us know.
Give me that wheelchair. Now!
A little background on me, so you understand the serious situation this whole thing put me in. About 6 years ago, I wound up with several health conditions that all interacted with one another, creating a domino effect of health problems. During the course of those 6 years, plus this current year, I have been hospitalized for no less than a week at a time, 15 times. Despite getting most of the conditions stabilized, I have a few more hurdles to overcome. Those being 1, a heart condition where my pump capacity is at 35% and requires me to get a pacemaker, plus 1 leaking valve. And due to the low pump and all my hospital stays, I've lost almost all the strength in my legs to where I toddle wobble walk with a cane. But to truly retrain my legs, I need to use a rollator, a stroller with 4 wheels and a seat. Also, my legs are so weak, I don't have the strength for the lift or push of the legs to get me upstairs, and more especially getting off the floor or ground if I fall. Once I'm down, and it takes about 2 to 3 men to help me get upright. So, one day I go to a store to grab some food and medical supplies. Won't say the store's name, but they usually wear Smurf-colored vests. I slowly toddle walk into the store, and that day I am wearing black jeans with holes, bright red suspenders to hold the pants up due to all the weight I've lost, a white short-sleeved dress shirt, and a very bright and loud red, green, and goldish colored plaid vest. I don't even make it past the security sensors when I'm suddenly grabbed from behind by a woman who looks like she's never worked a day in her life and done up to the nines, so she looks like she should be shopping at high retail stores in New York or Paris instead of this local place. I'm going to call her Snooty. I know they usually call these ladies Karen, but my bonus mom's name is Karen, and she has never treated me badly, so Snooty it is for me. Thus, the playbill for this little production is going to be me, Snooty, store security, store manager, and of course, kind of piercing together what I remember from the argument conversation. As stated, I didn't even make it past the security sensors at the building entrance when Snooty grabs me from behind by my right elbow and attempts to spin me around. I shift as best I can, rollator and all, and see this highfalutin lady with an exceptionally annoyed look on her face.
Excuse me? Did you not see me try to flag you down? How could you miss us? You walked right past me and my crippled daughter.
Her daughter isn't crippled. In fact, all she has on is a brace boot around her left ankle and foot. Me, lost in a little bit of confusion. I'm sorry. I thought you were waving at someone you knew in the parking lot. Do I know you?
No, you don't. But you should pay attention to customers when you bring in the handicapped items such as that wheelchair. I flagged you down because my daughter needs it.
Me, stammering a little. I'm sorry, but this isn't a wheelchair.
Yes, it is. This store provides them for handicapped customers, and you need to do your job and give this one to us.
That's not my job. In fact, I don't have a job. I'm in the middle of getting approved for disability.
Really? What a world. Anyone thinks they can get away with lying and excuses. Just give me the wheelchair, and I'll be nice and won't report you.
I don't work here, lady.
Yes, you do. You're wearing a vest, and this is one of the store's wheelchairs.
She places a hand on one of the bars on my rollator and grabs tightly. No, I do not work here, lady. I am a customer. I'm not wearing the right kind of vest. This item doesn't belong to the store. It's not a wheelchair, it's a rollator. And the store doesn't provide wheelchairs. They provide scooters, which are located behind you. Let go of my walker. Snooty attempts to jerk the rollator from me.
I am going to report you for being rude to customers, especially ones who are handicapped. You're not following the ADA laws. That'll get you fired for certain.
Me, pulling back on my rollator. Again, I do not work here. This doesn't belong to the store. It belongs to me. It's not a wheelchair, and your daughter isn't handicapped. She has an ankle brace on, probably meaning she just twisted or sprained her ankle. Grab her a scooter if you want, but leave me alone.
More lies, more lies. I am taking this wheelchair, and I am going straight to the head manager to have you fired.
What happens next is a tug of war, to the best of my ability, between myself and the lady with my rollator. She eventually does something kind of intelligent, and she pushes on one of my poles, which causes me to stumble backward, eventually tripping over my own feet, and kaboom! Down I go to the floor, slamming my head to the floor. I'm in a tremendous amount of pain. The room and my head is spinning. The lady is saying something to me in scolding tones, shaking her finger at me, but my head is ringing. I'm now short of breath, so I don't really hear her nor understand her. She huffs and walks away, and I was told she was slightly cursing as she was having trouble trying to push her daughter around in the wheelchair. Note, rollators are made so you can walk facing the seat. Thus, the handlebars face out away, not from behind the seat. Several minutes go by. Folks are trying to help me get up. Finally, there comes in a gentleman, and I believe his 2 sons, all of whom look like they could be professional linebackers, who managed to get me up and escort me to one of the benches just inside the entrance doors. Just a couple minutes more, and the store manager and a security guard come walking up to me with very stern looks on their faces. Manager: we understand you were trying to take a wheelchair from a handicapped customer and that you were, glancing up and down at me, well, obviously, attempting to pass yourself off as an employee of our store. Me: no, I was trying to come in here to buy some groceries and medical items when this woman accosted me, telling me I needed to give her my rollator. Security: well, this woman said you tried to manhandle her to take it away from her. I explained my medical conditions and how it's impossible for me to be able to manhandle anyone at the present time or foreseeable future. The man and sons who helped pick me up informed the manager and security that I had to be picked up off of the floor, that I had no leg strength as far as they could tell. After this, the manager and security look me over and then look at each other with expressions that said this needed to be looked into further. Security called for another officer to have them find the lady and her daughters and bring them up to the front of the store. When they arrive, Snooty starts right on in.
You've got the right, or should I say, the wrong, man. He needs to be fired. Now. And I have a good mind to press charges against him and the store for his assaulting me.
Manager: ma'am, I can't fire him, as he doesn't work here.
Yes, he does. He's wearing one of your vests.
Manager: you mean a vest like this? He raises up a side of the vest he's wearing. It looks nothing like our vests, ma'am. It also doesn't have our name nor our logo on it.
Well then, he tried to impersonate an employee so he could attack the disabled. I still wish to press charges.
Security: ma'am, he says this stroller is his.
This is not his wheelchair.
Me: it's not a wheelchair. If she owned it, she'd know it's not one. Also, if it was hers, why does she have my wallet and prescription list in the basket under the seat?
That shows why you're not the owner. There's no basket under the seat.
Security politely helps up the daughter out of the rollator and onto a bench seat, walks over and flips the seat up, revealing a little basket which contains my wallet and my newest list of prescriptions to order. Snooty now looks up, wide-eyed and somewhat terrified. Security tells his partner to make sure she doesn't go anywhere. Manager and security proceed up the staircase to the manager and security offices. They are gone for about 20 minutes and then come back. Security informs Snooty that the incident was all caught on camera and proves she's the one who started everything, accosted me, and then walked off with my rollator. She starts screaming and threatening security and the manager with lawsuits and such, but is cut off when an ambulance crew arrives, followed by the local police. The ambulance crew got the gurney prepped for me with the backboard and neck brace. Not that I needed it, but with the fall, they have to make sure I'm extra stable and take it in to see if I have anything wrong with my neck, back, or a concussion. They get me loaded and I'm waiting a few minutes when the police come back from the offices and ask me what I'd like to do. I can be a forgiving guy, usually given my mood and circumstances, but I was still hurting, in utter disbelief of what this lady did, and upset beyond all feeling. I let her have it. I told the officers I wanted to press charges. I'm not sure what all happened to the lady, although I know she didn't help herself out. As I was being rolled out the doors on the gurney, I saw her break away from the police, take a defensive stance, and then she started flailing and smacking at them with her purse and arms, as well as kicking their legs with her pricey name-brand pumps. It didn't take long before they had her on the ground, and the handcuffs becoming the next bit of bling around her wrists, looking oh so plain compared to her bracelets. I didn't have to do anything. About a week later, I got a letter from the county courthouse informing me that her case was already heard, the store video, manager, and security's testimony, as well as those from a couple of other people who came forward after realizing what it was they saw when they walked past us, was more than enough to convict her. I don't know if she served time in jail or community service, but either way, I hope she got to be seen in something either bright orange or maybe an old-fashioned, low black and white striped dress. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, we've got another one you are going to love. It just popped up on the screen, so go ahead and give it a watch, and we'll see you over there. And join as a channel member today, and we'll give you a special shout out in our next video. And if you'd like us to make a special video for you or a loved one, come visit us on Fiverr. Link pinned in the comments below.